After 23 seasons in the NFL, 7-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time league MVP, Tom Brady has officially retired. Again, maybe. Raider Nation, what is up? This is Darth Raider here, and I am back with a video here. I wasn't going to do this on a Wednesday. This was not in my plans, but this is a topic that is something that if you're a content creator, you have to talk about, especially how it's indirectly affecting us as a franchise. As mentioned previously, Tom Brady is retiring. He says this is for good. He announced it on Twitter today, early this morning. Got a little emotional at the end of the video. I think he's officially done. After what happened last year with, the whole divorce thing with Giselle, I'm sure the whole kid situation wasn't great and everything. I'm sure he's finally hanging it up and he is going to be ready for his next career. Keep in mind, he's already got a contract lined up with Fox Sports for $375 million. So I think he's going to be pretty good financially. Of course, after the regular season ended, we were one of, if not the top spot for Brady's next destination, as he was pretty much over with the coaching staff over in Tampa Bay. At the end of the day, his decision was made. He is not going to be playing football any longer. So that obviously affects us. Our plan A, probably plan B and C, is no longer in the cards for this Raiders organization. So the Raiders thought they had it in the bag. They thought that this was going to be the easy choice. They thought they had this so much in the bag that they burned bridges with their current quarterback, who, by the way, is going to represent us one last time in the Pro Bowl coming up this weekend. As I've mentioned before, I didn't think bringing Brady in was going to be a good idea anyways, and obviously, I made a video about it. I'll go ahead and link it into the description right after this. But hey, we're here, we're now. Let's go ahead and see what our best options might be for the next upcoming season and maybe even for the future. Look, there's probably like 4 or 5 different, realistic options. These options are in no order. They're in no order that I would personally want them to. I'll go ahead and talk about what I would think I would do at the end of this video. So option number 1 is going to be going with the familiar face in that Patriot organization, and that would be quarterback Jimmy G. As we all know, the San Francisco 49ers tried to get rid of Jimmy G last year. Unfortunately, they could not find a trade partner before that trade deadline in the middle of the season. Funny enough, GM John Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan had a press conference today, and the question was asked, what's going to go ahead and happen with Jimmy G. They asked him if there was any possibility that he's going to go ahead and stay here. I mean, they pretty much said no, there's really no possibility, and I honestly don't blame them. They invested way too much in Trey Lance. Brock Purdy came out of nowhere and absolutely lit them up and, actually carried them over to the NFC Championship game. Not to mention, Jimmy's getting older. Jimmy is injury prone. Jimmy's just straight up too expensive for the amount of production that he brings to that organization. Another possibility is going after and making a trade for quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Of course, there's that familiarity with wide receiver Davante Adams. The only real thing that's probably keeping us away from acquiring him is that massive contract. And he's 39, about to be 40 years old. Also keep in mind, the Green Bay Packers were talking about wanting at the very least 2 first-round draft picks for him. A third possibility is re-signing Jarrett Stidham while drafting a quarterback in the mid-rounds. This move is probably the most logical, as David Ziegler has talked about how he doesn't want to make any mistakes when it comes to picking and constructing this team. Doesn't want to make any decisions that's going to affect the team negatively in the short term and in the long term. Stidham would also be probably pretty cheap compared to the likes of Jimmy and Aaron Rodgers as well. And the last possibility for this franchise to acquire a quarterback is moving up in the draft, as there are some quarterback needy teams that are actually above us in the draft board. That being said, we're probably going to be mortgaging our future draft capital. So at the end of the day, we're going to be trading up. Does Dave want to do that? I don't think he's the type of person that would, jump up and trade future first round draft picks just to move up 3 or 4 spots. All right, so we talked about the possibilities. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the different aspects in the organization just to get a better understanding of what the team might actually do. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the front office. Dave Ziegler and that front office seem to be the type that they don't want to risk a lot. They seem to be the type of front office that wants to use as many picks as possible, and they want to be able to build long term. So if that means there's a possibility of waiting in the second, third, or maybe fourth round for the right quarterback option, Dave might go ahead and do that. Now the coaching staff is a little bit different. Let's be honest, this coaching staff did not do well last year. From questionable trick plays calls throughout the season to allowing a NFL record of 5 losses after leading at halftime by double-digit points. Josh McDaniels and company are on the hot seat. I don't care what anyone says. But if they go ahead and don't have a winning season next year, Raidernation and probably the ownership is going to be calling for their heads. So are they going to bank on some kind of rookie quarterback coming in or some kind of stopgap quarterback? I don't think so. I think they want to go ahead and make a splash, or at least at the very least get a veteran that's going to go ahead and make an impact right away. And finally, the ownership. Mark Davis has consistently been talking about and has been very vocal about the fact that NFL fans around the league are coming purposely to Las Vegas to watch their teams absolutely stomp on the Raiders. As we all know, he is not happy that these opposing fans are coming into Las Vegas, filling up the seats, a sea of red, a sea of orange, a sea of purple, blue, whatever it might be, that's overcrowding the rest of the seats that could be taken over by Raider fans. The team also just moved there, so he is pressured and there's high pressure. He wants to bring success to this team. That way, a lot of these new people, a lot of these people that are, the Las Vegas locals can actually be rooting for an NFL team, or else it's just going to be another tourist attraction. So while he wants to win, he also wants to make a splash. He also wants to have a star type of quarterback. Honestly, the most logical thing would be to, probably keep Stidham, re-sign him for like $5, maybe $10 million a year while drafting a quarterback, the best available quarterback that there is coming up in this next year's draft. What I think will happen though is Mark Davis is going to go ahead into Dave Ziegler's office and just tell him, hey, we got to go ahead and make a push and do whatever we can to bring in some kind of star quarterback, whether it be making some splash out of this world type of like trade for a for a star quarterback, whether it be like Lamar Jackson, for example, no thank you, or Aaron Rodgers. Now, if you were to ask GM Darth Raider, I would say stay away, absolutely stay away from getting Jimmy G. This guy seems to have a season-ending injury by week 2 for the last like 4 or 5 years. So why am I going to pay a quarterback $25-30 million if I know by week 2 he's going to go ahead and be injured and be absolutely of no value for the rest of the year? Also, I mean, to be honest, guys, I'm at a point in my life, I'm 35 right now. All I've really known is losing from this team. So I mean, if we got to go get Aaron Rodgers, we got to go get Aaron Rodgers, as long as it's going to be a deal that's going to benefit us. I know Vince Bissignor from the Las Vegas Journal, or however you say his name, gave this possibility, which I'll go ahead and put down here. I mean, it might be a possibility that we can get Aaron Rodgers at the cheap. Like I mentioned before, he has also even said that he's willing to restructure. So if we can convince him to restructure, or maybe somehow Mark Davis will be able to, provide some of the cash as a bonus or something like that. That way it doesn't affect our salary cap. Let's just go ahead and do that. He's already familiar with Devontae Adams. I'm sure he would absolutely love to throw it to Darren Waller. Absolutely would love to throw it to, Hunter Renfrow as well. We just got to make sure that we resign, Josh Jacobs. Yes, I know it's a high risk, high reward. He might not be with us for the next 2 years, but I think we'll be able to find some kind of replacement in next year or the following year as well. So with that being said, thank you so much, guys. I totally appreciate the time that you guys provided and sharing your thoughts with me. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know, share your thoughts. What would you guys do if you guys were the GM of this Las Vegas Raiders team? Once again, Darth Raider is out.